We are taping this days after the Baltimore bridge collapse, and I think we should give a shout out to Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott,
Scott
who handled
and
this,
Governor Moore.
and Governor Moore. But I saw Mayor Scott go on. Actually, he like went on Fox News and other news outlets, and he handled this crazy racist reaction uh, uh, to the tragedy with moral righteousness. He's been called a DEI mayor and blamed for this thing in some unconscionable way.
DEI is just a new word for nigga.
Well, it's what he said. He said on TV. Said his critics don't have the courage to use the N word.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see if you guys saw that, and also talk to you about what do you decide to say in response to in times of crisis in response to that kind of criticism.
And now you go first.
Well, first of all, first let's acknowledge the tragedy of what appears to be six souls lost. People doing work. I just saw a story. I guess the wife of one of the workers. They were on the bridge. They were on break, maybe in the car, and suddenly, I mean, that video is stunning. I mean, somebody said to me, that looks like what's the guy, one of these filmmakers that, makes fantastical things. I mean, it literally, it looked like an erector set or a movie set thing, these, the bridge comes down. Of course, it doesn't really happen in real life. And I mean, the rapidity, the quickness, which with that entire structure built in, I think, 47 years ago, just top. And so to say anything other than the tragedy that it is, without finger pointing or blame, who knows? I mean, I saw another story about like 3 ships have crashed in recent times. And quite frankly, I'm starting to wonder whether there is some kind of hijacking of internet or systems or hacking or something. I mean, maybe it's not coincident, maybe it's not. But to your question, Larry, you cannot countenance bullshit in this kind of situation. You have to call things for what they are. And, for somebody to try to use this tragedy to advance any kind of political agenda it's just so offensive. And so I give credit to Mayor Scott for pushing back hard, saying what needs to be said. And, I'm sure he probably wanted to say more. Because you just get so filled up when you have this kind of thing going on, because you got 9 million thoughts going through your head. So I think he did the right thing. He called it for what it was, and you have to push back. This. Sometimes you just can't be nice with people.
Yeah, I also think in moments like that both he and Governor Moore did the right thing by focusing on the work. Once you deal with the loss of souls and the tragedy related to the loss of souls, everybody wants to know that you're out there giving them your best for them.
Yep.
And that is the moment when government is most needed and most valuable, and it does things that only a government can do. And it's the time when, if you feel like you don't need government 97% of the time, 95% of the time, government is for that 5%, for that 2.5%. And what made me observe their behavior in a positive way was they were doing the work. And that's what I think people want to see from their leadership at moments like this.
Yeah.
And so it's the time for you to show up.
Yeah. This is mayoral, it's governor, it's president. This is the, Larry, you have my thing about the Bulls and I think that's the team. And I talked to Governor Moore last night, and I said, you don't pick the big moments. The big moments pick you. And this is their moment. This is maybe not in numbers, but for Maryland right now, this is their 9/11. No one ever thought that somebody would fly two airplanes into the World Trade Center and create that kind of destruction. Nearly 3,000 people died. No one could imagine that a barge would run into a bridge and knock it down. That's 47 years old, that people have grown up with all their lives, and you would lose people.
Yeah.
This is that moment for them.
Yeah, and
This is when people expect you to show up, acknowledge the loss, but also the General Assembly in Maryland obviously already talking about how we're going to support the 15,000 workers who are connected to that industry, disruption, to, transit, trucking, all of that, and this is what we're built for.
Yeah, but the other side is it's also going to show Democrat leadership working well between the mayor, the governor, and the president's administration. I think President Biden was meeting with Secretary Buttigieg, a former mayor, today. And I think that they're going to use extraordinary measures to get that bridge up and open.
Right.
And I think that it's going to be a can-do attitude, and I think that bridge is going to be done in a first-rate fashion, much faster than people typically believe.
Right.
And I think it's going to be a powerful message of what can happen when you choose cooperation over conflict.
Right. We saw the same thing in Pennsylvania early in Governor Shapiro's, out of nowhere, truck maybe traveling too fast, whatever, careens into the wall of part of overpass in 995, bursts into flames, burns up the bridge. The initial report was it was going to take 3 months. There were vehicles traveling over that same area about 3 to 4 weeks later.